search of someone else. And I hear your ship is coming in. Your tears, a sea for me to swim.
I started drawing as soon as I could pick up a pencil, actually. Yeah, I drew on everything too. I drew on the walls and I drew on magazines, and my mom had to clean the walls up after me. I remember her being very cranky when I was really young because I decorated the walls of my bedroom.
I actually have no idea. I think I probably was drawing when I was really little, but probably when I was really fat when I was little.
I started drawing like probably kindergarten. My dad and I used to like sit around and like just do random stuff all the time. And I actually started out with drawing like horses and stuff. It's pretty cool.
I first started drawing before I like knew the alphabet. I knew how to spell my own name. Like right when I picked up a little Crayola marker, I was drawing on everything.
I started drawing when I was little, and I was obsessed with drawing cartoons, Mickey Mouse and Snoopy, and I did a whole packet and sent it to Disney Studios and saying I wanted to work there when I was little, and somebody was nice enough to tell me to send back a letter saying when I grow up that I could work at the studios. So I took that very seriously and pursued my career, and I got a job at Filmation Studios, which wasn't Disney, but it was a cartoon studio.
You know, I think it's mostly realistic. I like to draw people over landscapes and other things. So I'm more inspired by realism than I am by surrealism or anything crazy like that. Although, you know, it's fun to try everything.
I would say it's really weird. I feel like everything that I do is like kind of controversial and makes people feel uncomfortable and super weird. And so I think it's funny that way because then people get awkward and look at me weird, and it's fun.
I don't really like have a style, but I like doing realism more than anything, with like a touch of surrealism sometimes. I like to throw that in.
I'm really into realism. I love drawing people for the most part. That's like my biggest thing. Like either real or cartoon, either way, I like it.
No, because it's not something I thought of when I was younger. You know, I just tried to do art, and then I got into theater, and I did theater for a long time and traveled around and did theater in other states and did musicals. And then it seemed like after I graduated and moved to LA, every single time I was getting a job, it always related to art. Whether I was looking for an art job or not, it just seemed to go that way. So when I went back to school later on after my son was born, I thought, you know, teaching would be fun. And it is. So I just ended up here. Yeah, when I went to school initially after college, I was majoring in graphic design. And then back in the day, it was not on a computer. It was all by hand. And so it was all drawing, which is what I loved. And then I thought, no, I really want to be an actor. So I did that route and was an actor for a long time. And then when I started thinking about the future, I realized that I didn't want to be living out of a suitcase all the time forever. And so I went back to school and finished my degree in art. So I got a degree in art with a minor in graphic design.
Yeah, I actually don't know what career exactly I want to do when I'm big, but I'm going to school for art. I'm going to the Roski School of Design at USC, so they're very career-based there, and like hopefully I'll figure out whatever it is that I want to do exactly there. Yeah, I think I want to do the BFA in design, which is like a new program there where it's not a BA or a BFA, but it's just, I don't know much about classes, but that's what I know.
Yes, for sure. I definitely do. It's my dream. I want to, I don't know necessarily what I want to do, but I'm kind of leaning towards graphic design and maybe some fine arts if I'm lucky, but it's kind of a hard thing to get into.
Yes, if I have money.
Look over
Yes. Okay, yes ma'am. Yeah, I do. I think I'm gonna try to pursue an art career if I can. Something along the lines of like graphic design or maybe even animation if I'm feeling spicy.
I just enjoy just drawing just cute, chubby animals and just cute things.
Pretty much everywhere, you know. I did a series on women smoking because I was thinking about my mom, who had been a smoker because it was glamorized back in the 50s and 60s, and she did not survive her entire lifespan. And so I thought about how powerful smoking is and what an effect it has on people and how addictive it is. And so I did a series on women smoking in particular. And then last year I was inspired by doing some presentations at my church on women in the Bible. And even though we don't really know what they look like, everyone's going to interpret them their own way. And so I did a series on biblical heroes, sheroes.
I don't know. Sometimes I just draw things that I think are like funny. Like sometimes I'll say something and nobody laughs at it, and I'm like, I'm gonna draw it, and maybe someone will think it's funny. And no one ever does, but I like it. So.
Usually from like other artists on the internet, like Tumblr and everything. I see like different styles and I kind of pick up on them, and then most of the time I just like look up an image that kind of matches the one I have in my head, and then I go off that and just create with it.
I find inspiration for my drawings a lot from Disney movies because their animation is just so beautiful and it's so professional, and it just looks fun, and I want to recreate that. And I also love comic books, and I get a lot of my style from that too. Like even when I try to draw realism, it still doesn't look that real. Like it's still a little bit comic booky, so I guess that's just my style. I get inspired from that.
My paintings are always like canvases. I don't even know the correct. It's like 16 by 22, and those take me like 3 to 6 hours. Honestly, the small canvases take me like 3 hours, and drawings like that I post on my Instagram, like the little line drawings, take like 30. Like they don't take long, like 30 minutes maybe. That's why they come out so crappy, because they're really quick.
It kind of depends. Usually when I'm just drawing, it takes me about like 2 hours. But if I'm like painting or doing something else, then it probably takes around like half a day maybe.
It depends because I'm very lazy, and so sometimes I can finish a drawing in like one day, or sometimes it takes me like 2 months to just finish an eye on one person. Like I'm so lazy sometimes, so it just depends.
Not very long. It depends on what type of project I'm working on. I just get very creative. I like coming up with creative ideas, and I like being a little different, just in creativity.
Oh, it's just my own vision. I think that's the thing that makes everybody's artwork unique. Some people are so creative and they go off on tangents. Other people are rooted in realism like I am, and try to take an idea and then turn it into something. So I just think everybody is unique in the way they look at the world.
I don't know. Like, I think it's kind of unique that my parents hate it. Like, I think that's cool. Like, that's weird. That sucks. Okay, go ahead.
I mean, I guess like every style is kind of unique, so the fact that I have my own style is what's unique about it. But I'm pretty vanilla, pretty traditional.
Like I said before, like I try to do realism, but it's kind of like a combination of realism and like a little bit not, like a little bit more fiction, like comic book style.
I haven't progressed as quickly as I would like to have because teaching is a full-time job. Being a parent is a full-time job. Being a wife is a full-time job, and so there are a lot of things that get in the way from spending as much time on your artwork as you would like. So I think summers are great because you have the time in order to go through the process that you need to go through.
I think like just technique wise, like my art started more cartoony and has gotten a little bit more realistic, and I've kind of gone into the realism realm of things, but other than that, like the ideas are similar. I'm just less punny than I was before. Oh my god, like I made the dumbest things ever. And like sophomore year I just draw puns all the time, and now I'm less like immature, maybe? That's what I guess.
I have definitely gotten way better, and I went from drawing animals and like different like household items to drawing people, and when I started drawing people it was more like line art rather than focusing on detail, and now I focus more on realism, and I've definitely improved with that.
When I practice drawing more, I definitely notice that it's easier for me to make less mistakes, and like I'm just faster at it, make less mistakes, but I've been taking a lot of breaks, so then my progress slows down with it, so I need to practice more.
I think that I've become more creative, and I just enjoy coming up with different ideas and just cool ideas. I just like doing that.
Well, I used to only work with pen and pencil, and now I work with oil. I don't really care for acrylic because I don't like the way it dries, and it's too slow. It's too fast drying, so oil is like painting with butter, and I really like that effect.
My favorite like media to work in is, I said media, I meant medium. My favorite medium to work in is painting. I use acrylic paint because I don't know how to do oil paint, and it's like my biggest fear is oil painting because it's messy and crazy, but I want to learn eventually. But yeah, so acrylic painting is my favorite. I just don't do it because it takes the longest, so I usually just like whatever, the little drawings on my Instagram are just like, sorry. But on my Instagram, the drawings are just like ink on paper, that's all it is.
Typically I use just like normal shading pencils, but I like to mix it up and use charcoal, and then sometimes I paint and use colored pencils, but my favorite is just straight up pencils.
A lot of different things. I think art, where I am right now in my life, I just would like to be surrounded by beauty, and so for me, looking at art that's beautiful is really inspiring, and I just think that it can enhance your life. It can also be thought-provoking. I love propaganda art, and I like art that makes you think about and consider the world around you and your role in it. But right now, I think in terms of what I'd like to do is I'd like to do work that is beautiful and that makes people appreciate beauty as opposed to looking at it and wanting to throw themselves off the Hollywood side.
I just think art is cool because you can get away with things that you can't do in real life. Like, I can't run around topless. I'm gonna get in trouble. Like, I can paint a topless person. No one's gonna be like, that's inappropriate. Like, my dad and mom will, but like, they're the only people. Like, you're allowed to do anything. You can paint anything, and people are like, that's artistic and deep, when really you don't even mean it to be deep, you just think it's funny, like that's how it is for me. People think that I'm smarter than I am, and I'm not.
Ooh, huh. Art is kind of like, it's like my scapegoat, I guess. Whenever I was going through like emotional times or something, I would resort to art to kind of help me get out of it, and like it was almost like my therapy, I guess. But art has helped me like develop as a person and like really like show my creativity and everything. So I don't know where I would be without art at all. I think it's a wonderful thing.
When I do art, like this sounds really stupid because it's like super cheesy, but whenever I do art, I just like I don't know how much time has passed. Like I'm just so into it that like I don't think about the outside world. I'm just totally into it. So for me, it's like an escape from life or something. It's like therapeutic. I just really like art, and like the finished product of it is just, it's so worth it, and it's so fun, and I love it.
Art means a lot to me because it allows me to express myself, and in order to be creative, I enjoy coming up with creative things, so that's the way I express myself with my ideas and my art.